Hello, everybody. Verdicts, how are ya? Welcome to Hamster's Hobby Hang slash Chris's passionate reactions to the Nintendo Direct on the other monitor, which I'm genuinely interested in. He's most perplexed. That's me. You can hear me now.
Beautiful. Yeah, I was, I just figured like, I don't know, you're doing something.
You missed my intro, but you've heard it dozens of times at this point. So.
Lol. Hamsters. Hobby. Yeah, that whole thing. Hey, Kodiak Bear. Hey, Vertex. How you doing? Blizzard made this new game, Diablo 2. Yo, wait. Diablo finally got a sequel?
Well, they remade Diablo 2. And it
Right.
came out today, and I have been playing it. Well, I've been trying to play it, but the servers are not taking it well.
Yeah. Blizzard, every game you make is an
Yeah,
online game. You've got to have servers down.
classic Blizzard launch.
Beautiful.
But it's cool. I mean, I didn't play Diablo 2 back in the day. First Diablo game was 3, so it's fun to go back to sort of a darker style aesthetic.
I could never get into Diablo. Don't know what it is.
Yeah,
Hey,
I
Digital
get it.
Engineer, welcome back. Um,
But I like to click things, you know?
that's
Lots of clicking.
fair. For some reason, yeah, for some reason, Diablo just never really clicked with me.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know why. It's like one of the big. I mean, it's the big dungeon crawler, but like, and I like dungeon crawlers. I don't know. For
I was
some
gonna
reason, I
say,
just
have you
like
gotten
it.
into other kind of ARPGs sort of
Yeah.
stuff?
Yeah, I don't know what my deal is. Guess I'm just a contrarian. No, that's
Diablo
that's fine.
2 was nice 20 years ago. Yeah.
I I know Colby wanted. Colby had me play Diablo 2 with him a couple of years ago. We started uh playing like the original Diablo 2,
Oh, nice.
and yeah, I played it with him for like a couple hours, and I was just like, I don't know, man. I'm still not enjoying it.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Um. Anyway, speaking of video games,
Yeah, yeah. Give us the lowdown.
like the first half hour of this is also going to be a Nintendo Direct live reaction stream. I'm going to be watching that on the other monitor, to see if anything exciting happens. They're showing some kind of card game now, so that's exciting.
Like an original thing, or is it from like some IP or what?
Uh, it looks like an original thing so far.
Okay.
So it's a lot of it's a Square Enix thing. It looks like it's a lot of yeah, it's a Square Enix thing. Wait, Yoko Taro's the director on this? What? Okay, now I'm actually kind of interested. Voice of Cards, The Isle Dragon Roars. It
Huh.
looks like it looks like it's a new IP, but like the designs look like a lot of Square designs and all that
Sure,
same
sure.
stuff. But Yoko Taro directing it is interesting. Oh, hey, they're getting Disco Elysium on the Switch. That's interesting. I need to play that.
Yeah, me too. I bought it. Picked it up again, made a necromancer. Super boring unless you like picking up loot. But that's the point, is to pick up loot. That's like the game. But you're right. You don't do your own fighting. You send an army forth to do the business for you.
Okay, let's see. Um,
I am changing the color of this, whatever this is. So I'm not a fan.
grabbing my metallics. I've got a bunch of minis here that need the metals done,
Metal.
but I haven't had my metallics here the last couple times. Let's see. But yeah, we're doing a. I don't know if we're gonna do the hang from the office again anytime soon.
Sure.
There's just a lot of production happening now.
Well, that's kind of a perk of this stream is we can do it this way.
Yeah. Is the thing like we had a huge shoot all Tuesday, and then set up like a new like our battle station there.
Oh, is that finally up?
Yep, it's finally functioning.
Nice.
It's finally installed, and I got the basics of it working, so now it's just the I want to get some more a few cables and splitters and stuff like that to let me God, I need a haircut. So let me do things a little more efficiently.
Sure,
But
sure.
it's going to be a big step forward in terms of the kind of stuff we're going to be able to do in there. Because for a long time we've had all the streams and everything were being run off of like this mobile cart.
Yeah.
So a lot of the gear could never be permanently like installed and in place, which limited the stuff that we could do, and it made setup and teardown time like frustrating. But we basically kind of permanently installed like our soundboard and stuff now.
Oh, great.
Yeah, so we can just have. It's gonna be a big thing for sound. It's gonna be a big thing for when we do live games and stuff. Wiring's gonna be a lot easier and more flexible.
Is it is it a little closer to just press the on button, or just more easy to fix?
That's also the big thing is I want other people to be able to run streams other than having to be me all the time.
Sure, sure.
And so yeah, now it is more of a walk in and push the go button situation.
Nice.
So because with everybody else they're like, wait, okay, so I gotta like go and I gotta hook all this stuff up and it was just it made it difficult for most of the other people in the office to just like go run a stream and stuff like that.
Right.
It involves so much more stuff. So all that's permanently there now. And it'll also help with filming things. Because we've got sound permanently routed in, and the streaming area can now serve as Video Village.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. So we can be using the computer monitors to watch the footage and watch the camera feed and stuff. So yeah, it's yes, Kat, I acknowledge that you're there. So I've spent the last. It's a couple months later than I was hoping we'd have it done, but it's done. So
There you go.
hey, Commerce Demon.
What up, Commerce? I like this wizard name. Reminds me of Fantasia. I didn't even think of that, but you're absolutely right. Yeah, I've done a few of these now. They're from the Kickstarter Myth Explorers. And I've liked some of their stuff. Interesting things. I do like this pose and the robe and everything. I've upgraded from using cheap craft store acrylics, using some testers enamel paints. Wondering if anyone's experienced using those. I haven't used enamel much.
Miles. Oh, a new Kirby game.
But do you thin them with alcohol? Is that how they work? I imagine that'd be one of the only differences is you don't thin them with water.
I don't know anything.
And
about any of
and I imagine the regular paints are pretty opaque, unless you get some transparent varieties.
This
Um,
new Kirby game looks fascinating.
dude, Kirby rocks, man. I haven't played Kirby in ages.
Like running, he's like, it looks like it's open world,
Ooh.
and he's running through like like a post-apocalyptic like city.
What?
Yeah, like it looks like the city from Nier Automata.
What the heck?
Yeah, there's like ruined buildings everywhere and like overgrown with leaves and vines and stuff. So, yeah, it looks like Kirby's like come to Earth after everything's ended.
Kirby's back and he's taking names.
This is fascinating.
Yeah,
And it looks
I feel like Dungeoneer, like, it's just one of those things that you have to practice with the materials and like kind of accept that some mini is going to be a practice mini, because I was actually just thinking about this before the stream. Like, a lot of times you see when people post tutorials, they're like, oh, what color was that or what brand was that? And really the biggest thing is to just use what you have and get fluent in its properties in the brands that you do have, because they're going to behave a little differently, and you just have to like work out how to get your vision and your result that you want from the properties of those things, and then you'll learn your favorite brands and products and tools for specific uses. Yeah, model cars. I remember I used testers on like Pinewood Derby cars and Cub Scouts. Yeah, if you have a happy accident, you can print a new one. That's a good point.
do copper swords make sense? Do they make swords out of copper?
Yes, and it's
Okay.
fantasy.
All right. Because like I think it's gonna look good, but is it gonna be like a thing of like nobody uses copper swords? What do you
Hey,
mean?
I've played RuneScape.
That is valid. Oh, they are doing more Animal Crossing content.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's everybody's been saying like, wow, I can't believe they just completely abandoned uh Animal Crossing. But it's coming. Oh, Brewster! Oh my God, they're bringing Brewster in November.
What's Brewster?
Brewster. Okay, so there's this coffee shop, starting with City Folk, and it's super relaxing. And Brewster is just like this tall green pigeon, that ran the coffee shop, and it's just like super chill vibes.
That's awesome.
And that's one of the things I've been saying is like, man, one of the only things they're missing from the one on the Switch is Brewster, and he's coming. So this is now a perfect game.
There you go.
I played Animal Crossing literally every day for over a year, and then stopped.
Because no pigeon, no Brewster.
I haven't played. I haven't played since I checked in every day for over a year.
Right.
Should get back to it at some point. Oh my God, she's sitting. My cat is sitting in the other room and yowling at the top of her lungs. You're not alone. What is your problem? She's come back over here. I don't know what she wants. Are you missing food? Is there a bear in the other room?
A bear? Yeah, I haven't seen people use enamels a lot. Maybe more in scale modeling or something, but I imagine the perk would be opacity and the finish, like if you're specifically looking for the finish. Because I'm imagining like a really, like enamel, kind of glossy finish that might be unique to those paints. So that might be interesting. Like imagine like a Space Marine armor or something that's like has that kind of pristine gloss coat enamel finish. And they're tough, so they're used on metal models. That makes sense. You got a printer. I did spend like a month buying random files thinking one day I'll probably get a printer, but then I stopped doing that because I was spending too much money and I still don't have a printer. I don't even know where I'd put it in a small apartment anyway. Which, by the way, your place looks nice. Your new place.
Thank you. It needs a lot of work, but it's a good amount of space.
Yeah, it looks that way. Enough space to do stuff.
Yeah. I haven't set up all the stuff I want to yet. I just kind of, we eventually got busy enough with reliquary stuff that I kind of dropped my personal goals.
Yeah.
But, yeah. What would be good?
Oh, let's see. Verdict said, where is it? According to Google, copper was the first metal used to make swords and knives. So there you go.
Okay, so these guys will just be very primitive. Which I guess makes sense. I think that's literally the first metal you start making weapons out of in Valheim.
Oh, sure.
Triangle strategy, let's go! I'm genuinely excited for this game. It has the worst name in the world, but like, it looks fun.
Oh, jeez.
Paint Kickstarter that seems popular. Doing a paint Kickstarter? Interesting.
Oh, Duncan Rhodes. Yeah, that's right. I did see that, but I definitely don't need any more paints. I've decided. I don't think I've bought new paints. That's not true. I did buy these really deep, intense, like heavily pigmented AK colors. But those are the only 5 paints I bought in probably a year.
Just get a bunch from work.
No, I just anytime when I first got back into the hobby, if I was interested in a paint brand, I bought the complete set. Which you shouldn't do. You should just buy a handful and test them and see if you like them. But I went a little crazy, and now I have more paints than I ever use, so I don't need more.
I mean, we don't need any of this.
That's true. That's true.
Oh, they're showing Metroid Dread.
Oh, nice.
What a... Man, the fact that that came back is fascinating. Okay, I think this is gonna work. Let's see. Do you prefer the 3D or 2D Metroid games?
I've definitely played the 2D more.
Fair. There's more of them.
Yeah. If I were to go back and play one today, it'd probably be a 2D just for, like, that era in general of games, the nostalgia for it.
What, like, created the Metroidvania?
Yeah.
The Prime series is, like, classic, though.
Yeah, that is true.
I'm wondering if we're gonna get, like, a Metroid Prime remaster. The last time we got those... So, like, 1 and 2 were on the GameCube, 3 was on the Wii, and then also at the end of the Wii's life cycle, they did a bundle of all 3 of them.
Oh, nice.
That also released on the Wii. So I guess it's actually been a while since they've been re-released, and there's no way to play them on the Switch currently. And it seems like they're really banking on the Switch kind of being the company's thing for a long time. So I kind of feel like bringing in all the old games makes sense.
Man, I wish they had Virtual Console on there.
It's the thing about the Switch I understand the least.
Yeah, right.
Like, the Virtual Console did so well for them on the Wii and the Wii U. Like, it cost them almost nothing to put those ROMs on there. And they sold like crazy.
When I had my 3DS, I played Virtual Console games like 90% of the time, I think.
Yeah. It was a fantastic thing. It was a way, like, you got to preserve so much of gaming history through it. It's very bizarre to me that they would drop it because it seems like it wouldn't be that hard to keep going.
Right.
Yo? Speak the devil.
Oh, yeah?
They're showing a bunch of Nintendo 64 games, so I'm pretty sure that they're adding a bunch to... I mean, not Virtual Console, because they don't have Virtual Console, but it looks like they're adding a bunch of those to, Wow, it's showing Star Fox 64, Ocarina of Time, Mario 64,
Oh, wow.
Mario Tennis. I think they're adding it to that, Oh, they're adding Sega games? It's that thing, like, where you have access to it if you have, like, an online...
Oh, sure.
Thing.
Yeah.
It looks like they're adding Sega games and 64 games to it, which blows because like that's what bummed me out about it was they were supposed to have GameCube games on the Virtual Console during the Wii U era, but then the Wii U wasn't doing well, so they never got around to it, and then they stopped having Virtual Console.
I remember hearing about that. I thought, like, not only did I not expect them to kill Virtual Console, I thought they were going to add more to it like that.
Yeah.
With the Switch.
That was the thing. Initially, they were like, yeah, GameCube games are going to be coming. They sold that GameCube adapter and everything. Like... Oh, it's a new membership plan. Do you have to pay separately for them?
Wait, there's a new online subscription thing?
I don't know. I'll have to see. I'm only like half paying attention.
Yeah.
So it's like a bunch of classic 64 games and then win back, whatever win back is. Oh, Shining Force is included in the Genesis games. That's really good. Shining Force is great.
Yeah, Dungeoneer, I would imagine the enamels have a nice, a pretty bulletproof finish when they dry.
Do you know anybody in New York that has a printer?
Yes, Dwarven Forge.
Okay, sure, but I mean, like, anybody who's like, yeah, I've got real estate in my New York apartment to put a FDM printer or something.
The only guy that I know that had it had a game space, like a store space, below his apartment, and that's where he had it.
Okay. He, like, ran a game store?
Yeah. It more turned into, I think you could order stuff there, but it was just you could pay to use the space, and he had, like... So his dad, this is, I don't know if you ever met Ade. He came in for, like, some war game stuff once, a few times.
I think you've talked about it a couple times. We wanted to work with him, but then the pandemic happened. And
yeah, it was unfortunate. He was going to come to that Adepticon with us, but his dad had a dentist practice in the space below, and so imagine like all like the different rooms in a dentist's office, but they all had like gaming tables in them, fully terrained out and stuff.
Man. See, if I was a dentist, I'd have so much more money for everything.
Yeah.
Every now and then I just think about all the other careers that would let me live more comfortably.
Yeah. I hear you.
There's a point in time in high school where I was like, I should just be a chiropractor.
There you go. I'd be coming to you.
For like an acupuncturist. I saw like how much acupuncturists make on an hour on average.
Really?
Yeah, and you don't need like a college education for it or anything, because like it's more like you just learn the stuff or whatever.
So you're saying you could still do it?
Yeah. I'm gonna pivot into doing acupuncture, even though I'm terrified of needles.
Yeah, me too.
Like, I'm not gonna be the one getting stuck, right?
There you go.
Is this ActRaiser? What? Wait, what is this? No way! It's ActRaiser. They're doing a remake of ActRaiser. Wow! And it's out today. What? Excuse me? What? Dude, do you know ActRaiser?
I don't.
ActRaiser was wild. It was like, okay, so ActRaiser was like, so it's like part side-scrolling action game, and it's part like God Simulator,
Okay.
sort of thing. Like it's, you have sort of a SimCity style interface, kind of, but the main thing is that you try to, you're basically like, the gameplay is split between you kind of managing like settlements as they grow, and there are people who like follow you and like believe in you and everything. And so like the higher you get that population, like the more power you have, because there's like more people that believe or whatever. So you raise all that stuff up, and then you send like, then you go in, you take on the form of like a champion, and you go into then like a level at the end of each like sim segment, like once you've got enough power to go in there, and you play like a side-scrolling thing to get to like the boss that's like causing like the corruption in the area, and take him out. I never beat it. Is an NES game. I never beat it because at the end you have to do a boss rush that is just insanely hard.
That sounds
Like,
super cool.
It was really cool, and there weren't really any other games like it. And so I saw that thing because I'm just kind of half paying attention to this, and I was like, huh, this kind of looks like a high graphic version of ActRaiser. Like, yeah, there's some kind of ActRaiser style mechanics. It's nice that there's a game finally doing what ActRaiser did, I guess. And I'm like, wait, no, this just is ActRaiser. Wait, it's awesome.
It's kind of funny just having your reactions and not seeing what you're looking at. I'll have to watch it after this.
Fair. Played through a good chunk of the Game Boy Advance remaster of Shining Force, so the site emulating it got nailed for copyright. Why more video RPGs don't let you use centaurs and a bird guy for party varieties beyond me. Dude, Shining Force 2 was one of my favorite games as a kid. And yeah, like you get such a wild variety of units. You get like steampunk robot dudes in Shining Force 2. And yeah, it's mixed with like all sorts of fantasy stuff. It's a wildly cool game. Like it has your mechanics. Like it has okay, there's a picture of Chris Pratt on screen right now, and it says Chris Pratt Mario, and I need to get the context.
What the heck?
Please look for... Oh, they're announcing the cast for the Mario series. Anya Taylor-Joy is playing Peach.
Okay. Wait, what is this series? Is it live action or is it animated?
Like Illumination is doing a movie, like an animated Mario movie.
Okay.
Charlie Day is playing Luigi. Jack Black is Bowser.
Yes, I'm in.
I don't understand why Chris Pratt is Mario.
Me neither. Just literally just the name. They're like, what is the biggest name that will say yes? That's why he's in it.
That's what it is. It's they think he'll sell tickets.
I can't picture him as Mario, but we'll see.
Seth Rogen is playing Donkey Kong.
Okay.
And Keegan-Michael Key is playing Toad.
You know, I'm curious to see the result now. I like some of the choices, and I'm very perplexed by some others.
It sounds like there's some problems. Fred Armisen is playing Cranky Kong.
Verdict says, who is Nicolas Cage playing? Yeah, might as well throw all the names in the mix.
They busted Miyamoto out just to present this. I. Oh man, I, I don't know what to think about the fact that this is a movie that's happening. Look out! Ladies and gentlemen, Splatoon 3. It's wild to me that Splatoon 2 and Splatoon 3 are coming out on the same console.
That is kind of wild. What the heck?
Yeah, I'm curious. It did look like they're adding a good amount of new stuff, but I do wonder what the impetus was. What made them go like, you know, we can't put this into the original game. Like, we need to develop an entirely new game.
Yeah.
Ugh. It's like a fuzzy octopus? Okay. Splatoon has one of the most fascinating aesthetics. Like, I consider the series an achievement just off of like the visual design and the soundtrack alone. Like, it's really fun to play too, but
Yeah, I've only seen it played briefly. I don't have much experience with it.
it's got immaculate vibes, dude.
All right. I'm into that.
You big on immaculate vibes?
I'm big on immaculate vibes, yeah. That's kind of my, like, if I had to pick any type of vibes,
Yeah.
they'd be up there.
Yeah, I am a vibe guy. Only if the vibes are immaculate. Hey, DMN, how you doing?
What's up, DMN?
Return of the Mammalians? Oh. Fascinating. Okay, so that's their angle. I finished watching Kill la Kill.
What is that, an anime?
Yeah. I have one of the songs from it stuck in my head just because it's a very good song. But, like, I don't get it. I mean, I think I get it. I just don't like it.
What is it about?
It's a society essentially where it's like a fascist regime that is run entirely based on clothes.
Huh.
And so like like a student's status in school gets them like a higher level of like these special uniforms that the person who runs it gives them, and those suits like give them powers and stuff like that, and the higher level suit they have, the higher standing their family has in like the city and gets to like live in like a nicer area and stuff like that.
Huh.
And so it's extremely fan servicey,
Sure.
and like I think it was wanting to be like so a lot of it, at least especially when it starts, is like trying to be satirical.
Okay.
But I think at a certain point it's like, I mean, you're just doing it. Like, and when you get into the back half of the series and all of the DMN, I'm trying not to spoil it for him just in case. But like when you get into like the back half of the series, it like it's not really a satire. I don't know. So it's a thing where it's just like it's like super over the top and gratuitous with like the fan service of these teenage girls,
Okay.
and like grown adults are like perving on them and stuff. And so it's this whole thing where it's like, oh, oh man, isn't it like funny how over the top this is? It's like, yeah, you're still doing this several times an episode,
Yeah, that's kind of strange.
and you're not really saying anything outside of like just like super base level, like the Nazis were bad.
Yeah.
But even that like kind of gets turned around, and like the person running this fascist regime like is turned into a sympathetic character,
Oh God.
and like I don't know, the back half of it just gets like super sincere and just does all the stuff that I usually don't like in anime anyways, where it's like friendship speeches.
Yeah.
And so like then they go like, oh, there's like a point where like they like sarcastically remark that like uh they like sarcastically remark like, oh man, oh, you're gonna give us like a friendship speech, and they're like, no, because the bond that we share is beyond friendship. It's the thing where I'm just like, okay, you're calling out some like anime tropes, but then you're still just doing those things.
Sure.
And like I don't know, like I couldn't. The entire back half, it wants you to be invested in it, and I just couldn't get. Oh, they're showing Bayonetta 3. Okay. Everybody was like, they've been getting like a lot of like, oh, Bayonetta 3 is never gonna actually come out, like stuff. So I guess now they're showing it.
Cool.
Nice. Anime's about capitalism and the transformation of a message into pursuit of profits. Yeah. I get the things that it is about, but I feel like it just kind of says those things very bluntly and then doesn't really actually do much with any of it. So I guess it's the thing. It's like this super. I watched it because it's like this super highly regarded anime, and so I was like, okay, like this is probably gonna be like a good thing. And I watched it the entire time. I was just like, I feel like I'm just watching a generic shonen, like.
Sure.
And I don't know. It just didn't do anything for me. Neither did Uncharted 2, which seems unrelated, but it's because that's what I've been like consuming lately is playing the Uncharted series because I never did, and watching Kill la Kill because I needed a show to watch. And I don't know. I just like compared to like other anime that I feel like say some stuff really poignantly. I feel like Kill la Kill didn't really cash in on anything, or not cash in, but like I feel like it didn't really pull off anything particularly interesting.
Sure, sure.
It's no Evangelion.
The horniest show I've ever watched.
Uncharted 2, that was really good. I didn't get anything out of it. I don't know. Like I played. That was the thing. Like I played Uncharted a couple months ago, and I was like, yeah, it was all right. And like I played Uncharted because I heard like Uncharted 2 is like where everybody says like it gets really good. So I just finished Uncharted 2, and I just kind of feel the same way. I'm just kind of like, oh, it didn't do anything for me.
Yeah, that's one of those series that I bought it because I felt like I was supposed to play it, and I just like never had the impulse to play it.
I'm wondering if it would have been different if I'd played it like at the time that it was coming out.
Sure, sure.
Because like, it's not like I don't like Naughty Dog's work. I like basically everything else they've made. Really big on Last of Us, and I liked blanking on the name. Jack and Daxter.
Oh yeah.
Was really into those. So it might just be part of like, how do you finish a game that doesn't do it for you? You don't understand the way that I look at like games and everything. Oh wow, the direct's already over. Wow, it's already been 40 minutes. Huh.
Yeah, stream's been up 44 minutes. It says.
Wow. Okay. Well, I'm excited about ActRaiser. That's the main thing. Yeah, I don't know if I don't know how much of it is just the fact that like, you know, everybody has now made games that do the things that Uncharted did. But I guess it's like, you know, the story isn't really something I care about much because the story is like the whole thing is that it wants to feel like Indiana Jones. So like there's some good clips and good jokes and stuff, but I'm not actually like emotionally invested in anything, I don't think.
Sure.
And like as far as the gameplay goes, I just kind of felt like I was just shooting people over and over again. I don't know. But yeah, Vertex. I have a very unhealthy relationship with media, where I feel like I want to play every game that is significant for any reason. And that means playing it to completion and seeing everything. I platinumed Spec Ops: The Line. I don't like Spec Ops: The Line, which is considered treason in a lot of gaming circles. But I did not think it was actually that good. I thought the gameplay was actually pretty good. I did not think the story was good. But so I don't know. Maybe I just wasn't in the. I don't know. I guess that's the thing. I guess I wanted something more substantial, which I just shouldn't have been playing Uncharted probably, because Uncharted's whole thing is that it's supposed to just be like escapist Indiana Jones style
Sure.
stuff. Your meeting finally ended. Nice. 29.5 hours and everything is still broken. Wait, so you straight up have had a meeting that has lasted for over 24 hours. Did people go in shifts or something? Did they actually keep you awake? Like, what is happening? And are they going to compensate you for the fact that I think they were only running the meeting until the Nintendo Direct was over, to be honest, because it just finished. Are they just trying to make sure that you couldn't watch the Nintendo Direct? You're in IT. You work in SRE. An X upgrade did not go well. We've been in a meeting with AWS about it. Man, none of that stuff registers for me. That's a lot. It's a lot of acronyms I do not recognize. You serve like a lot of big time. Hey, this cat.
Topula said, "Sorry, I just had a stroke as the Mario movie cast."
Dude, yes, Seth Rogen, Donkey Kong. Honestly, that's the wildest thing. The most baffling choice out of that for me is like, why is Chris Pratt playing Mario?
Yeah, that is kind of weird.
Is Mario gonna be just like a bumbling fool in this? Yeah, wait, yeah, because who did I say was playing Luigi?
Charlie Day.
They have the voice. Yeah, they have the voice of Mario in the movie. That's the wild thing. Like, Charles Martinet is in the movie, but he's not actually getting to voice any of the characters that he's been voicing since the series inception, which is wild. Like, the only good casting is Anya Taylor-Joy. I think it depends what they're gonna do with Peach, right? Because I don't think we've ever seen Peach get anything to work with, right? Like,
yeah,
I think the most she's talked was like Sunshine. As long as they do the Mario, I suppose. Who did I say was Luigi?
Charlie Day.
Charlie Day. Right. Those guys feel like guys that you would get to do similar things. So it's really weird to me that they're Mario and Luigi. Which one of them is supposed to be the straight man? I assume Mario's supposed to be... I assume Chris Pratt is supposed to be the straight man in this scenario. But in that case, there's so many better directions you could have gone. He doesn't even sound like... It's just... That's baffling. It is really baffling to me. Swing your arms from side to side. Well...
Yeah, I just can't visualize Chris Pratt at all doing that, but we'll see.
Swing Swing your arms from side to side. Do the Mario. Meow. Meow. You have been non-stop fussy for weeks. I don't know what your deal is. Super vocal, never happy.
She getting acclimated to the new place?
Yeah. That's the problem. Are you serious? In Caesar Rex? Yeah, they announced the Mario cast. Jack Black as Bowser might actually be my favorite casting choice.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Keegan-Michael Key as Toad. Like, what a baffling use of Keegan-Michael Key's talents.
Yeah, that one, well, we'll have to see. Oh God, and there's another really weird. Fred Armisen is Cranky Kong. The fact that they're gonna have Cranky Kong in this movie is fascinating enough. Yeah, Chris Pratt as Mario is just such a bad choice. Yeah, I don't understand what Chris Pratt possibly brings to Mario. Like, it sounds like they're just wanting to take Mario in a very odd direction. Swing your arms from side to side. Little Mario. Oh, hey, they didn't. I just realized they didn't reveal a Smash character, so we still don't know who the last Smash character is. Holiday 20. Man, it's not even coming out for a year. What, the
surprise cameos from Charles Martinet. Unbelievable. You realize that we're gonna start getting like a bunch of we're gonna get a bunch of people tweeting out lines from Parks and Rec, but like as Mario.
You heard it here first.
At least James Corden isn't in it. Yeah. Oh yeah, dude. Thank your significant other for me. Holy man. At least it's one good thing. Well, we don't know he's not, right?
Don't jinx it.
They didn't tell us it was a complete cast. All the Goombas are just Chris Pratt in a Goomba outfit. Not Chris Pratt, James Corden. Man, I screwed her. I'm still just like... I don't know how to feel about any of this. But I think it's bad.
Yeah, that was a roller coaster.
Bizarre. What led them to Chris Pratt?
Dude, I have no idea. I feel like they like copy pasted an email list of their biggest names, and the first one to say yes.
If you're going with Parks and Rec funny man, Nick Offerman would have been like more interesting. Chris Pratt is nothing. It's so bland. Man. I feel like if we went with like Leonardo DiCaprio. James Franco is Mario. Like, what are you doing? What does this person bring to it? Bye bye, little Yoshi. You're bye bye, little Yoshi. Like 5,000 candles in the wind. You've seen Parks and Rec, right?
Oh yeah.
Is that a no? Or are you just hyper-focused? You're hyper-focused on
No,
this.
sorry, yeah. Yeah, I've seen it.
You've seen Parks and Rec, yeah? Okay, yeah, you...
100%. 100%.
That's another thing that didn't do it for me.
Yeah, I mean, it was fine. I watched it, kind kind of a background show for me.
Yeah, I think it functions there. I couldn't get it. Like to me, it was like the jokes aren't as good as Community, and I can't get as invested as The Office. So I just feel like, yeah, it's more of a filler show for me than something I think I'm attached to. It does have some good bits though, and honestly, Chris Pratt was a lot of the good bits. Not most of them actually. Nick Offerman might be my favorite part.
Yeah, that is true. There were
Ron
good
Swanson's
bits.
Ron Swanson's like jazz career is one of my favorite
Yes.
bits. It's one of my favorite bits in it. Uh, the whole little Sebastian thing really is great. Like that's one of the most memorable parts of the show, I think. I think most of the best stuff in Parks and Rec is in the bloopers, like in the outtakes, honestly.
Yeah, they do have good bloopers.
A lot of them courtesy of Chris Pratt. But so I guess that's it. Mario movie, probably gonna be bad. Man, I can't wait for the bloopers. Chris Pratt's gonna have some funny meatball jokes that don't make it into the final movie.
I don't know. I kind of soured on Chris Pratt because I saw him on like he was on an episode of like Billy on the Street, and he was just like a horrible sport about it. It was like he didn't even want to be there. It was like he just kind of had like a too cool for school kind of vibe.
Does he seem like they get interesting?
Like he was just like he wasn't like the guy that would be doing the Parks and Rec bits. He seemed like I'm Jack now. I'm a superhero, and I'm better than everyone. Is the vibe he gave off to me.
Well, I mean, yeah. Daniel Craig is Goomba number 7. Tom Hanks is the voice of Goomba number 34. That just surprises me. I'm kind of worried about what they want to do with Toad now that they've cast Keegan-Michael Key there.
Yeah, I just can't like envision what it's gonna end up like with that.
Like, you realize, like... Well, okay, so my first question is, are you going to have Keegan-Michael Key try to do the Toad voice?
Yeah,
Because
right.
Toad has a very distinct voice that he's known for. And, like, if yes, then why did you get Keegan-Michael Key for it? His voice does not sound like... Fascinating. It definitely seems like... I think they're definitely not wanting them to sound like they've sounded in games before. Because I don't think you would have gone with this casting if you wanted them to sound like they do in the games.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Which makes me feel like they're just going to make a very generic animated comedy. Which is unfortunate. But it is what it is. I swear to God, if all they do with Charles Martinet is like have Mario hit his head at one point and as he's woozy, they just have Charles Martinet go, "It's a me," and then he just shakes his head and be like, "Wow, that was weird." Like I'm gonna be pissed. Hey Masticon, congratulations on getting home. I hope it has some sort of raspy, high-pitched voice like the games. I'd like some sort of recognizable aspect. It's just weird, 'cause it's like, I don't... Keegan-Michael Key has a very flexible voice. He does. I still feel like Toad is, like, so bizarrely out of his register that I don't know why you would think of Keegan-Michael Key if you're trying to think of somebody to come in and play Toad as we're used to him sounding. I feel like you would go to 1,000 other people first. What are you doing? You can see my cat in the window. She's like in the window, and what are you doing back there? Okay, well, oh. Everybody enjoying just watching my cat like tear through the house. Yeah, right. You have a hard life. You don't gotta pay rent or anything. You live for free, and I pay to feed you.
She says, my love and affection is worth it.
All right, well, he desperately wants attention, but she doesn't want me to actually give it to her. I don't know what she wants. She's just unhappy. She just wants to be unhappy. She wants me to, like, leave the computer and go walk over and stand somewhere else, but it's not gonna happen. Hamster's not in a new place. It's just a different angle. I think this might be the first time my new apartment's been on stream, though.
I think you're right. That's the first time I remember seeing it.
You gotta come over sometime. Come over and play Breath of the Wild.
Yeah. New tradition.
It's not my apartment until hamsters come over to play Zelda.
There.
Bye, little Sebastian. You're 10,000 candles in the wind. Hope you're enjoying it. Yeah. I'm working on a video answering the I'm new to Dwarven Forge, what should I buy? But I need to get my module runes of our last release first. Nice. I wish they would just give us permission to release the videos we already shot that cover that topic. Oh well. Yeah, I like the apartment. It's considerably more expensive than the last one, but I think that's just the reality of I had been in that apartment for 8 years, so they couldn't raise the rent much. And man, rent sure was a lot higher than it was last time I was looking at apartments. I'll tell you that much.
Yep.
This was like this was like 200 more than the other places I was finding, but the other places I was finding were like closets.
Yep.
And I've got this sizable living room, and then another room that's just as big, that's my bedroom, and then also a separate kitchen that is decently sized. And there's a bathroom. So, that's exciting. So this is like over twice the size of most of the other places I was looking at.
Yeah.
And like, it's $16.50 a month as opposed to like $14.50 a month.
Sure, yeah.
And like, I'll take it to not live in a closet, you know?
Yeah, that sounds like a great layout.
Yeah. It's led to a lot of compared to like, you know, the last place I was in a 3-bedroom place for $2,100 for 8 years. Well, $2,000 for 8 years. Over time, like it went up from $2,000 to $2,100 with like the 1% rent increases or whatever.
Yeah.
But you know, splitting that 3 ways, was considerably cheaper than this place by myself. But I don't know. I didn't want to move into a cheaper place that I was going to want to move out of like immediately.
Yeah, I feel that.
I wanted to try and find a place that I'd be happy staying in for a long period of time.
Right.
So, yeah. Oh, Masticon, I know. I'm well aware. When I was, my mom runs a cleaning business, and so when I'm back home, I'll help her out, like cleaning apartments and houses and stuff sometimes. And second or third year I was here, I went back for a couple weeks to visit over the summer, and we cleaned a 3-story, like 6-bedroom beach house that had like dedicated rec room and like 3 bathrooms, and it was less per month to rent that place out than it was for the apartment I was in Harlem that was four four bedrooms that were just like, it was just like a long thin hallway with four small bedrooms off of it.
Oh God.
And for a year, I lived in that 4 bedroom in Harlem with 7 people.
7?
Yeah, there were 7 of us in that apartment.
Man.
And 'cause we were just trying to find a way to like live. I was being
Yeah.
paid like $9 an hour at the time.
Yep.
Like it was rough. Yeah.
Yeah, I my first place I found it was $7.50 a month, but it was also a plywood treehouse on a wall with 3 other plywood tree houses that people lived in next to me. It was like a big loft, and they built air quotes bedrooms on the tall wall out of plywood. So that's the cheapest place I found, and I couldn't even stand up in my bedroom though.
Yeah, it's really messed up, the stuff that they try to pass off here. I got really lucky with this place, honestly. Like I had like a couple days left before I had to move. I had like 2 days, and got this place, got approved, like ran all that stuff through. Um, it was like a super last minute thing, but it was the thing where I was like looking at it, I was just like, I'm gonna have to like settle for like one of these like $1,400 a month studios that are one. The other place I looked at the same day I looked at with this, like Tyler went with me to that place because it was close to where he lives, and we went in, and as soon as we stepped into the building, the air just feels bad.
Oh no.
Like there's so much mold in the air, like it feels bad to breathe.
Yeah.
Went into the apartment, and it was a studio. It was one room that was like half the size of the one I'm in right now,
Wow.
and it had a closet, and it had a bathroom that was like the kind of bathroom where you open the door and it hits the toilet.
Yeah.
Like that small of a space. And the kitchen was in a like 10 foot by 5 foot entranceway. Like you open the front door and you're in the kitchen, and it was so small that like the fridge was actually in the studio, like the bedroom, the one room, basically. It was against the
Jeez.
wall in the room. And that was 1,500. That was 150 less than this.
Good
And
God.
it was like maybe a third of the total space.
Wow.
And the floorboards were all like warped and like water damaged.
Yeah.
And you could like feel mold in the air, like while you were breathing.
God, that sucks.
And they were wanting 1,500 a month for that, and somebody's probably paying it right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, it's really, it's actually ghastly what they're allowed to get away with here. Like,
Yeah.
it's a real mess. Why wasn't Danny DeVito Mario with Charlie's Luigi? That's the thing, right? Like, Danny DeVito authentically would have been a better direction to go for Mario. Because at least then you're going like a comedic direction that makes sense for the character. I don't understand. I can only assume if they're going with Chris Pratt as the like serious straight man direction, they're better straight men.
Yeah.
If you're going with him if you're going with him as like the comedic direction for Mario, like he's not funny in the way that Mario should be funny, I don't think.
Right.
It's just very odd. I don't understand why Dwarven Forge wouldn't just move somewhere nice and affordable. You gotta go where the artists are. I don't know. I don't know. That's the thing, though, is like I want to be in New York.
Yeah.
I don't know if I don't know how I'd feel about living anywhere else.
Right. I'm with you. I mean, I've thought about it, like, when I go home, it's like, oh, there's some things nice about this, but I'm like, I think I would just you know, it's just novel, and I'm like having home nostalgia or whatever. And if I were to leave, I would just feel homesick for New York.
That's the thing. I'm miserable when I go home. Like,
Yeah,
I was like, like, oh, I'm seeing friends and family, sure, but like the way that those towns are laid out, like,
yeah,
I don't know, like I'm not happy in those places. And the reality is just every person's got their own things that they look for and stuff that makes them happy.
yeah.
So I don't know. It's always a weird thing, like when people say, like, can you believe people still live in cities when they can just like live in a place like this with a house like this for cheaper? And it's like, yeah, which is great for people who are happy being in those environments. Not everybody's happy in those environments. Like, I don't know. Like, it's everybody needs different things. I go miserable whenever I'm in a city. Seattle's too much going on. That's fair. I also don't really like Seattle. I can be in Seattle for a little bit, but I don't think it's a great city. And the thing with New York, like, there's a lot of places in New York that I don't like, so I don't go there. I think it's the thing that's unique about New York compared to a lot of other cities is, and like, this is true of any city really, but like I think it's more true about New York than most other places, which is just that every neighborhood is such a drastically different thing.
That is true. Having moved from Manhattan to Brooklyn is like night and day.
Yeah, like I can't live in Brooklyn anymore. I lived in Harlem for that year, and I don't like living in the busy parts of the city.
Yeah,
I like living places that do get quiet at night.
yeah,
I don't go to Manhattan if I can help it. Like,
right.
not a Manhattan fan. But the access to food around here, the ability to see shows, the kinds of people that are here, and I also I don't like Williamsburg and Bushwick and stuff. I don't like being in like the artist communities really, because I don't like a lot of the people that are there.
Yeah,
But I just avoid them,
yeah. You can find your home base.
Yeah. You find out where the places you like going are. You find out what food you like. You find out how to get around most efficiently. 'Cause I don't know. There's things that aren't ideal about it, but I don't know. There's a lot of stuff here that I wouldn't want to give up. I'm gonna call it on this Yuan-Ti. It's because there's not any particularly special reason why it needs to be an incredible mini. So like this is fine for the table. Like,
Nice, yeah. I like the shield and the sword, the color accents on the weapon and the shield.
shields are probably my favorite thing to do, honestly.
Me too.
Generally speaking, like, they're very easy to do accents on. There we go.
Yeah, just a big flat space to like do a cool thing on.
Yeah, and they do interesting designs on them.
Yeah.
Like, it's nothing special, but this is good enough for the table. Aren't a lot of the artists remote anyways? Michelle and Eli are. I think that's it. Yeah, all the painters have to be in the studio. God, could you imagine if every time we wanted something painted, we had to ship it, like,
Dude,
over somewhere? And
we
then have
had
it
we had to
there?
do that for some of the pandemic with me living in New York, and it was tough.
Right, but you were able to come into the city still.
Yeah, but at first they
Or
tried to
not
ship.
into the city. You were able to come into the office.
At first they tried to ship stuff to my address, and even within the same city, it was still a nightmare doing that.
Yeah, man. Like with sculpts, it's easier because like you only need to sculpt things one time. Well, you don't need to only sculpt things one time, but like there is one sculpt that is sent around, and then we make the mold out of that and we do the casting. But if we had to send you every casting we made,
Yeah.
have you paint it and then send it back, that'd be a mess.
And usually, especially for those bigger Kickstarters, by the time it gets to paint, there's certain scenarios where things need to have a really fast turnaround. So like, I wouldn't maybe have time to wait for the mail before they're shooting the video on it or something, you know.
Concept artists are also remote. That's true, but that's easier because like that's all digital. Tyler just messaged me. He's like, "Dude, ActRaiser remaster." I'm like, "I know, dude." Man, ActRaiser is what. ActRaiser deserves more attention.
The concept sounds really cool when you explain it to me.
Cool concept. It's a thing that I wish. It's definitely aged. There's things that could be done better, but like nobody's continued to do things with that. And it looks like they're making changes to it as well. So I'm hoping that this can lead to them making more ActRaiser games and kind of expanding on that gameplay style because, yeah, like nobody does. Like nobody does games like that anymore, and it's a really cool concept. It's a cool direction to take. Okay, it's just raining. I was like, is something going wrong? I'm like, no, it's just raining pretty hard outside right now. Which always makes weird noises on the air conditioner and makes me worry that it's going to blow up or something.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. This guy's actually close to done. That's right, because he doesn't have any metal on him, so I was able to do most of him without the metallics. He definitely needs shading, though. Do I want to do the trolls right now?
You gonna troll on stream?
I feel like the fact that I asked that question means that it's a no. They're so close. This little... Man, the yokai sculpts from Bones were very good. I've painted one of them so far. I painted the little frog.
How's your progress on the Bones batch?
I haven't been painting as much the last couple of weeks because we've just been swamped with reliquary stuff.
Yeah.
But I brought a lot of my paints home because I was like, you know what? I think, especially with Hobby Hang looking like it's going to be remote for a while longer.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing, right? I feel like in the office, it's better to do those painting streams like we initially did at the beginning, where it's like one painter and maybe two.
Sure.
But I feel like trying to do the Hobby Hang in the office, it's harder to control the things that like matter in that stream.
Sure, sure.
I love having everybody together and being able to like vibe with each other.
That is fun, yeah.
In person, like that part's great. I feel like as a stream, like as a watchable thing, the Hobby Hang functions better when it's remote.
Yeah.
I
get that.
Yeah. That's the rough part. We lose when everybody is in charge of their own camera and microphone.
Yeah.
It's just easier.
Right.
The yokai sculpts are so good. Yeah, I have this little yokai otter and the yokai penguin dude. I've got the rest of my tabaxi that I haven't painted yet. I've got the two otters that I haven't painted yet from the Brine Wind.
Stream is better when it's remote and more chill. Focus more on painting and hearing Chris tell us the thing about X. Yes, there is definitely a point where I am mostly like really in the zone in the tank, and we get to hear.
I'll talk about anything for an extended period of time.
Yeah.
Nate tried to bait me.
What?
A couple days ago, he tried to bait me by like I had an idea related to reliquaries that I think is actually a good idea about a thing we should do. And so I was like leading into it, and and I was just like, you know what I realized, and he was just like that Final Fantasy VIII is underrated, or no, that Final Fantasy VIII is the best one. And I was just like, no, it's definitely not, but it does get a lot more crap than it. And I started like going off, like going off about it. He's like, all right, no, so.
Hey, he chose his fate there.
He did. He baited me. I was trying to like actually talk about work, and he put me on one of those tangents. But yes, I'm well aware that I have very specific speech patterns and phrases that I go to. Back when I was streaming more regularly on my own channel, people would make fun of me by going like, "All right, here's the thing," and just like saying that, or like, "All right, look."
I enjoy it. I'm not making
All right,
fun.
look, and here's the thing where I used to say this, and that's the good thing, right? Is like I kind of cycle through. Like I used to say that's fair a lot more than I do. I still say that's fair fairly often now. I used to say it a lot more. Which I think is interesting, the way that you kind of pick up and drop common phrases over time, I think is interesting.
Yep, that is true.
You know what I realized? I actually didn't finish the Yuan-Ti, because I forgot I left the handle on the sword for later, and then when it was later, I forgot. Just gotta do that real quick. It's a very small thing. Let's see. Fortunately, I can't paint at the same time as this happens anymore. I need to make dinner before 5. Oh, man. Find yourself a man that can cook, right? I need to cook more.
Yeah, same. My wallet needs me to cook more and not order stuff.
Problem is, I'm putting in enough hours that finding the time in the day to do that. That's been another thing about moving into this place entirely on my own. It's a fairly large space to try and keep clean as one person.
Yeah.
And to take care of as one person. And not being able to say like, hey, I'm not going to be able to do this thing. Can you take care of this to anybody is wild. There was a time close to the beginning of the pandemic that I was painting a lot. Then I think I got depressed and I stopped.
I hear that. That's why I didn't really paint a lot.
Yeah, I think that was the main thing. I go through phases of like getting good about taking care of myself and like learning recipes and cooking and doing stuff like that, and then I'll get sad, and then and then I stop cooking for a year.
Yeah, I hear that. Remember when I moved and didn't see any of the people that I met in Brooklyn for like a year and a half? Yeah.
I do, vividly. It was very upsetting.
Yeah, that's when I was in a black hole of depression.
Yeah. Wow, I don't know, man.
Turns out seeing your friends makes you happier.
I think it's the thing that's been the toughest about this is, man, that stuff comes in waves, right?
Yeah.
And, man, the longer this goes, you know, the longer we're kind of, you know, locked out, because, you know, we're going back to, we're not going fully remote like we were at the beginning of the pandemic, but we're tightening things up again because of Delta and like cases going back up and all that.
Yeah.
And still just like very restricted, and like it's recently, like the last month, 2 months, like it's been like now hitting family members and like family friends and stuff like that.
Right.
And it's just kind of like this whole thing of like, when is this gonna stop? Like that new wave of all that stuff has been hitting recently, which is not great.
Yeah, you know.
But hey, we gotta put on a Kickstarter.
Woohoo!
It's honestly been like a good distraction.
Oh yeah,
When I'm working, I can't be sad,
exactly.
which I think is what we call a healthy work-life balance, right? I think that's a healthy relationship. Is the part where you throw yourself into work so that you can't think about
Right.
other things.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Wow. Oh, she's coming down.
Is she really?
Yeah. Oh, she
What
is.
area are you in?
Uh,
Oh yeah, God. I didn't even realize.
a neighborhood I didn't know existed until I moved to it.
Oh.
Uh, it's called Wingate.
All right. Yeah, I have
You ever-
no idea what you're talking about.
It used to be called Pigtown, and they renamed it. They renamed it to Wingate because of gentrification. Because they were worried Pigtown didn't sound good enough and people wouldn't want to move there. So they called it Wingate because they're like, that sounds like a wealthy British family.
Right.
So that'll get people to move in. But no, it was called Pigtown because this is where all the pig farms used to be
Oh,
back
cool.
in the day. Um, and there's not any pig farms here anymore, unfortunately. They've all been replaced with apartment buildings
Yeah.
stacked on top of each other. Who would have thought? Um, Tried painting a lot at the start of the pandemic, but I did not have the right workspace for it, having to set up my desk every time and it taking up the whole desk in my tiny room when I was already trapped in a small space with aggressive roommates. Painted a lot more after the move. That's fair. Yeah, because you were in the city. You were in New York at the start of the pandemic, right? You had like just moved when when we started talking. I think.
Perfect timing.
Um, yeah, I need. I think now that I'm wanting to actually be painting from here more, I brought all my paints back here. I need to bring more of my sculpts here. So I filled like what room was left in like my brush box. I filled with the minis I was working on and then some extras. I need to bring more here, and then I actually just need to set up like a painting area, which should be fairly easy somewhere in this place. Don't know if I do it in the bedroom or kitchen or here.
Yeah, since we started doing the stream here remotely, I'm back to the short end of my desk. My strategy there is actually kind of nice when you just pick out the materials you specifically need for the thing you're working on and it's like less cluttered. If you can manage that, because sometimes what happens is I just make a mess on a smaller desk and that doesn't do me any good. But if I put things away at some point and then sort of reset the space for the specific project, then it feels a little more manageable on a small space.
Yeah, I got a question about dragon anatomy.
Uh-huh.
The back of their wings, do they have a flesh color, or are they the same color as like the scales? I feel like I've seen it done both ways.
I've seen it both. I prefer to do sort of like a membraney color in between. I think it like is a good opportunity for contrast and stuff.
I've got the membrane on the underside, but I think I might want the back side of the wings to maybe not the same color as the scales, but I think I might
That
want
would
it to,
work.
I think I might want it to also be a red, maybe like a lighter red, because it's like thinner. It's not
Yeah.
scale.
No,
Like,
yeah, that would work, I think. The underside is sort of a lighter color and the upper side is closer. Yeah, I like
yeah,
that.
the underside is the boo. You don't like that color yet? I don't know. I'm not happy with the way this dragon's coming out so far. I think I grabbed one of the high flow acrylics and base coated all of his scales with it in the office, like a month ago. They're magical. You can paint them however you want. I give you permission. Give me the interference paint. Ooh. Let's audition a couple of these. It's too far off, I think. So let's try this out. Da, 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 da. I will say though, Kill la Kill did have very good music, and the
Yeah.
animation was phenomenal. I mean, it's Trigger did the like made the show, and
Okay.
Trigger's got like ridiculous animation. Kill la Kill. Speaking of Trigger, yeah, I just finished watching Kill la Kill earlier today. Star Wars Visions, go watch it. I haven't heard of this, but then I saw a take going around on the timeline of a guy saying that he was upset that like it had Asian influence. Was that lightning outside my window?
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I saw like Daniel Kwan was talking about you saw that take too? Yep, that was thunder. Okay, so I guess we're having a thunderstorm right now.
Oh, good.
That's unfortunate. I was gonna walk to the pizza place after the stream and yeah, figure out how I'm gonna eat tonight. All right. Well, maybe it'll lighten up. Yeah, that it just seemed like a guy who was upset about things other than what he was actually saying. You know?
Sure.
One of those things where it's like, this isn't the whole story. Like, I'm not sure if you're trying to lie to me or if you're having to lie to yourself. Wow, it's getting heavier. I can like visibly see the sheets through the window in the darkness.
My blinds are closed and my headphones are big, and I have no idea what's happening.
Yo, put that on your gravestone. That's a solid line. Also, sounds like the motivation for Neku Sakuraba from The World Ends With You.
There you go.
You ever play that?
No.
Of course you didn't. World Ends With You is a very good game. It's probably hard to play. Well, no, they just remade it on the Switch.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Very good game. Interesting, unique RPG. Yeah, actually, I'm liking the way this is working quite a bit. It's a different tone, which is making like the bones between the wing sections stand out.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I'm into that. Son Matthew's helping me type. Oh, nice. Thank you, Matthew.
Welcome, Matthew.
How have you been doing, Kodiak? I'm really happy you've been able to watch. Let's see. Seems like things are going better, yeah? Yeah, this is a good idea. Whoever was trying to talk me out of this. Hamster, I can't believe you told me not to do this.
Sorry.
Paul Giamatti as Mario. why are you trying to hurt me, Tubby? I did check like my personal Discord. All my friends, like that's all they're talking about is the Mario casting. They just posted a picture of Chris Pratt, and they're all just like shouting poggers over and over again. Man, I don't think anybody had that on their bingo card.
No.
Everybody's like passing those bingo cards around.
Yeah, right.
Plays hurt. Oh, I almost hit it on my stream deck. I just realized I'm not the one streaming this, so you wouldn't. Speaking of which, Hamster, did you get that email about Twitch and the music copyright stuff?
No, what's happening?
Supposedly,
I probably did, but...
Supposedly they've reached a new deal?
Huh.
That should make it less scary to play music on stream now?
Okay.
I didn't quite get all the details. I think it's still a thing where like you can't just like play copyrighted music like freely, like willy nilly. Like,
Yeah.
but I think it's been loosened a bit.
Okay, well that's cool because they were just like guillotining people.
Why is there not a video game channel in the Discord, and should there be? I guess the thing has been, huh? I, hmm. Is it too? Well, okay. So we have like a general channel. I guess yeah. As far as like things that aren't related to RPGs, I guess all we've really, or the hobby in general, I guess all we've really got is just like the general channel, huh?
Yeah, I suppose.
Is it too much? I've been trying to like not have so many channels that it's confusing.
Sure.
But, like right now, like we've been kind of slowly increasing in channels just because it's like we have to have one for sci-fi and Cities 2 and Wildlands up right now.
Yeah.
And we also have to have a Reliquaries channel now.
Right, right.
All 4 of those projects are active right now, Hamster.
That's...
I just want to point that out.
That is wild.
I guess sci-fi less so, but sci-fi is a thing that people know is happening at some point, so there's still discussion around it.
Yeah.
So I guess I should say that. We are not actively developing sci-fi at the moment. It's a thing where, like, every now and then we'll, like, have an idea and kick it around. But, like, we are putting Cities 2 away first. Because, man, Cities 2, there's a lot... I don't know if we fully appreciated how much design work was going to be needed to get Cities 2 to work.
Oh, yeah.
Because, like, we're trying to... When the initial Cities happened, it was very much... I mean, it was an extremely Stefan thing, where it was, I want to make these buildings, let's just come up with a way to make these buildings.
Right.
And there wasn't a whole lot of thought put into how that would... If that was the optimal way to do it.
Sure.
And so, you know, we're in this position where we don't want to leave people behind who have bought into that system, so we don't want to just move to a new one.
Right.
So it's this whole design thing of, like, how do we make a bunch of incredible new things and at the same time make it backwards compatible with that system and provide ways to fix that system and make it work better and get around the limitations that it had. There's a lot of really difficult design decisions and stuff to figure out. And, like, we showed you what our initial answers were to a lot of those things, and the problem is a lot of that stuff getting there is just going to be time and reiterating over and over again and adjusting, like, things by millimeters and... Yeah. Compared to Wildlands, where, like, Wildlands could just be completely free and open and was also basically mostly new systems, more or less.
Yeah.
As much as you could call them systems, like, they really just build the same way as Dread Hollow and Aranthor did, but, like, in that sense, like, exteriors are so open that you're way less restricted.
Right.
So there was a lot less trigonometry involved. By the way, here's a bean for next week's On the Anvil.
Uh-oh.
We've got Deborah Ann Wool coming on. We're gonna be doing an interview with her.
Awesome.
And we always ask for, like, a list of topics and just general things of, like, what do you guys feel comfortable talking about? We want to make sure we don't talk about stuff that's going to make the guest uncomfortable. So it's like, you know, what are you comfortable with? What are you not comfortable with? Is there anything in particular you want to talk about? Anything you want us to avoid? All that stuff. And one of the things she sent us is trigonometry. And I told him, I'm like, no, we need to actually talk about trigonometry. I haven't gotten to talk about trigonometry in a very long time. Like 12 years, 13 years. I've never used trigonometry in my adult life, but I was good at it and I liked it. That's the thing. I'm one of those freaks who liked math. You realize I was smart once? I took like all AP classes.
Can you believe it?
Got like stellar grades. Was like I thought I was gonna be a laser physicist at one point.
I
That was
remember
what I
that.
like. Yeah, I thought that like that was the career I thought I was gonna go to. I was like, I'm gonna do laser physics, and then I found out like what the job actually entails, and I was like, I don't think I can do that. And it's not the like the you know like the math part, particle physics, engineering, the laws of the universe, baby stuff. I could do that. I don't care about that. But the job, like every time I look at the job, they're like, yeah, you'll basically be in a lab room by yourself for 10 hours a day. And I was like, I don't know if I can do that.
Yeah.
If I'm being real, I don't know if I could. I don't know if mentally I could do that.
Yeah, that'd be tough.
So I really like these topics and all these scientific fields and everything. But instead of continuing to get educated, I went into film instead.
There you go.
Yeah. So, the point is, I'm very excited to talk about trigonometry and see how much I actually remember.
That's
Because
awesome.
I guarantee I'm gonna remember way less trigonometry than I think. Yeah. Man, every now and then I will just like start studying stuff randomly. Because there's so many resources out there for like learning things outside of a massively expensive college tuition. You know?
Yeah, that is true.
So like just going and like you can research game theory very easily. Matt Pat did a whole series about it. It's really phenomenal. You can learn how almost anything works. There's all these people who have gotten really expensive college educations and then paid off those student loans by making videos where they dispense that college education for free.
Right.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'll do some of that stuff randomly. But I do wonder. I do wonder, like, if I would have been happy if I'd actually pursued like a field like that.
Yeah.
Because I had I had the mental abilities.
Right.
Obviously, I'm super rusty on like all that stuff now. But like, I did calculus and all that stuff. Like and it wasn't like a struggle for me. It was a thing like my brain just worked that way.
Sure, sure.
So if I'd stuck with it, I don't know. Would I have been happy? Would I have been happy doing engineering and stuff, or would I have only been happy if I actually like went out and pursued this stuff? Because like the most fulfilled I get is creating things and collaborating with people on creating things, and then releasing them and seeing people's like responses to it and all that. Like the happiest I've ever been has always been like at the after like the first night of a play,
Right.
or actually like the production aspect of movies is my favorite part. I'm like every movie I've made, like I hate actually going and seeing it or having people see it.
That makes sense.
But like the process of making it, those days where you've got like a dozen people at least, like depending on like the budget and scale of the project and all that. Like making Uncle Gareth was phenomenal. Like it was exhausting, you know? Like
Right.
it was like 5 back-to-back 14-hour days or whatever. But like it was fun. Like all those people working together on like one thing. I don't know. So I don't know. I don't know if I would have been fulfilled like going into any of those careers, but like for most of my life, I thought that's where I was gonna be. I thought that's what I was gonna be doing. So it's interesting.
Well, I'll say I definitely have a good time watching Uncle Gareth.
That's good. If all my life consists of is having made 15 minutes of content that made you happy, be fine. At least I made Hamster happy. You know. I'm trying to decide what I want to do with the horns and... Ooh, do I want to make his underside different? It's interesting. Some red dragons, I assumed that like it was a given that the horns on a dragon would be a different color. But I'm seeing now that actually a lot of them just leave the horns red.
Really?
Like in like official art and stuff. Yeah, I'm looking at like a red dragon and like the horns are just red.
Huh.
There are cases where it isn't.
Right.
But a surprising amount of the artwork for the red dragon has red horns.
Huh, yeah, I wouldn't expect that.
Yeah, I would have assumed a bone color. And that's probably what I'm still going to go with because I think it looks more interesting.
Yeah.
But, yeah. You painting the bones wormling and you're painting it red? I did the same thing. God. Alright, well now I got to change it.
Yeah.
Man. I got so far. Got so far on this one. Yeah. Yeah, this is the bones wormling. Got a lot of dragons I got to do. It was because I was using the red for something. What was I using the red for? Hamster, what was I using the red for?
Did you do it on the first guy? What do you mean?
This is one of the Vallejo... This is one of the... I think it's one of the Vallejo. No. This is one of the golden high-flow acrylics. This red.
The Regal Red? Was it Hellscape?
Yeah. No. It was during a hobby hang. The reason this wormling is red is because I was using that red on something.
Oh, that was one where you were painting like 6 different things at once.
Did I use it for the... I used it for the spell effects.
Oh, that's right. I remember that now. The hand and stuff.
Yeah, that's what it was. You painted this one green, you painted the smaller one red? Oh, thank God. Is the smaller one the one that's on a pile of treasure? I'm trying to remember all of them. There's a good amount of dragons in it, which is good because I don't really have any dragons. So it'd be good to have a couple dragons to put into our lineup. It's a little troubling that... you know what the real problem with dragons is?
What's that?
You've got to be able to cover so many different colors.
Yeah.
Like, cool. We've got a red wormling. I'm either gonna have to get a bunch more wormlings to get at least one in each color, and then we're screwed if we want to have multiple. Or our DM is just gonna always have to be like, oh, it's a red wormling. Or he's gonna have to drop it down and go like, pretend that he's black, you know? Like,
yeah.
This is actually a green wormling. Just, you know, ignore that he's red. But then that becomes really, really troublesome if you get into an encounter that has multiple different dragons in it, and they're supposed to be different colors. And then if they don't match the color they're supposed to be, that gets mad confusing. How many dragons is your group encountering? A surprising amount, actually. Our home game features a good amount of dragons. We don't usually fight the dragons. We had a warband that rode drakes that we had to fight. So we had to fight some dragon-like creatures there. Have we ever fought a dragon, actually? Usually the dragons are on our side. One of our druid... our druid made a mistake at one point. And she misunderstood polymorph. And so she used it to turn into a young dragon. But she could only, like, and Tyler didn't catch it at the time. He didn't catch it at the time. Because he didn't have, like, the wording for polymorph and its interpretation, like, memorized off the top of his head. Like an idiot. So he let it go. And then he read up afterwards, like after that session, he was like, Right, you can only transform into beasts. You can't transform into dragons here. With it, but so what we did was we did a little pivot where it's like, well, you actually are from a. So he had a backstory plan for her where she's from this like kind of special bloodline, um, that gives her like potential for higher level magic, and so basically she can true polymorph at a cost, more or less. Except she only uses it to turn into a dragon, which is fine. Um, and it takes like all of her spell slots, more or less. And at the end of it, she like goes unconscious. So it's like this kind of it's this Hail Mary card that she can pull out.
Sure.
And so she can turn into whatever color dragon she wants, but she's always a gold dragon because that's the one that he has currently. And then we've got a lot of dragon NPCs. They've been like a pretty. They've been built into like the mythos of our world, pretty well. We've been dealing with. We've been talking to a lot of them. It's been a cool thing. It's an interesting world. Oh. Bye, Masticon. Have fun with dinner.
Bye bye.
I hope you enjoy making it as much as you enjoy eating it. I guess we're gonna be pretty close to having weekly Critical Role to watch after Hobby Hang again. It'll be fun.
Oh, is it coming back?
Next week, or is it tonight? They're going to announce when Campaign 3 is starting.
Okay.
And I guess I'm assuming that it's going to be the same time slot as usual, because I don't know why they would change it.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming it'll still be like Thursdays at 10. But I guess it's possible that doesn't wind up being the case. But I can't imagine it changing. They kept it the same for Exandria Unlimited and their one-shots, so like I don't know why it would change. Announcement is next week morning. So in the morning of next Thursday morning. They need to change their catchphrase if it changed. That is fair. Oh man, it'd be so funny if Matt had to keep going like, is it Thursday? Is it Sunday yet? Like, that'd be pretty good. It'd be worth it just for the initial hiccups. I'm really curious if they're going to play with form this time around. I think it'd be fun if they did. I really want to see somebody pull off this concept of having two different parallel games going, like two different groups playing, filling the same time. And then potentially having their actions affect each other.
Well, that'd be cool.
Yeah, it's something I've wanted to pull off for a long time. I want to do it with Gun and Slinger.
Ooh, yeah, I'm listening.
Because with Gun and Slinger, it's such an easy system to run multiple groups for, because you only need 2 players for each group.
Yeah.
So I really like the idea of having 2 pairs, like 2 slingers and 2 guns. And having them both exist in this world and like alternate playing, basically. And then, you know, their actions have ripple effects. And then at a certain point, they end up, you know, crossing paths. And I don't know if it would be an antagonistic relationship or a partnership or a little bit of both. I just want to do more Gun and Slinger.
Yeah, I'm game.
And I want to do Lancer. I want to do so many things. Finding time to play stuff is like... impossible when we're in Kickstarter mode.
Yeah,
Problem,
I was,
problem is, problem is we're always in Kickstarter mode.
yeah, pretty much. I think just this morning I was just thinking about the number of war games I've actually played in the last like year or so, and it's not many. Made me sad.
It'd be easier if we were out of the pandemic because then we could just set things up in the office and play in the office. And...
Yeah.
But like when we were all getting vaccinated, we started making plans to play Lancer.
Yeah.
And then Delta popped up, and it was like, okay, we're not gonna get everybody together in the office to play Lancer right now.
Right.
I want to play Lancer so bad. I don't know why Sail is stuck in my head.
I don't mind it one bit.
Sail! Yeah, I can't imagine not, like, making the horns and claws on a dragon bone. It just makes the scales pop so much more.
Yeah. Especially on a small model, it's like, you need separation somehow, you know?
Yeah. Yo, Delta's stupid. I hate it. This whole pandemic needs to go. Yeah, man, I gotta be real. I know all of you are, like, huge pandemic fans and all that, but, like, it's just not really doing much for me. TBH. TBQH.
Yeah, the pandemic is not immaculate vibes, man.
Yeah, these vibes, somewhat below immaculate. I was around somebody recently who was talking about, like, oh man, remember the pandemic just started, and like it was like kind of a cool fun thing, and it was like, oh man, yeah, I was just gonna like watch shows and like hang out at home. It's like, yeah, man, oh man, he was like, it was so fun at the beginning. I was like,
what?
no. it was never that for me.
Disagree?
Like I kept working through the whole thing, and like at the very beginning of it, I definitely felt like I felt a pressure to be uplifting for people.
Sure.
I know I tried to make like dumb jokes at the morning meetings and stuff like that, more so than usual.
Sure.
It's like Janet said that like it helped with things to just kind of like have stuff be kind of ridiculous.
Right.
Every now and then, and just like have the humor. So, because Animal Crossing came out like right when the pandemic started, and so I was giving turnip updates.
I remember that.
That's like part of the comedy routine. Is, you know, every week at the morning meeting or the Monday morning meetings, Nate would just ask like, all right, so what's going on? And I would just like say, all right, so the squirrel is, and I would just like, because he has no context for like how any of this stuff works, so it was all just like very bizarre to him.
Yeah.
She found that amusing. And I think over time, I was definitely coping with it better at the beginning, just in terms of like, I don't know, it wore down my mental over time.
Well, yeah, especially because I remember when we went remote from the office, we were like, we'll call it 4 weeks to be safe.
Yeah, we thought that we were being overly cautious by committing to being
right.
remote. So I don't know, it was... I remember when we saw it was coming, my D&D group, our last session, we were like, yeah, we're not going to play in person anymore after this because of the way it's getting, and like we want to be quarantining and stuff, and so I like divided up my microphones and my webcams and handed them out to the group so that we could play, because like almost everybody in the group, well, like half the group was like technically challenged.
Sure.
Like outside of me and Miles, like they didn't really have setups for doing anything remotely or anything.
Yeah.
Just like trying to like give them like the equipment for it and all that. There's like a very somber I don't know, it was a very somber thing, but it was at the beginning of it. I had the energy to be like actively trying to cope with it and like trying to develop routines and everything. And, like over a while, it just kind of like broke down.
Oh
like,
yeah.
It wears it wears on you over time. Like it gets harder. I don't know.
Absolutely.
But I'm eager for when it can just be a thing that Hollywood makes very inaccurate movies about.
Yeah, there you go. And we'll explain to the youngins all the
Basically what it was
inaccuracies.
like during the pandemic. You know?
Yeah.
Told my coworkers, see you in April. Jokes on them, I quit my job and then the job after that. Nice. That's what we're doing. Summary of topic. We were just talking about the pandemic and like how it's affected us over time. DMN's wondering if you're doing video recording for TikToks.
Not from the stream. I just had I just set up my little photo booth and shot some random stuff. Honestly, I've been thinking about it for a while, and the stuff that I posted, I was just like, I just have to, because I couldn't find like the turntable I wanted, couldn't find the power for the photo booth, so I just like turned stuff on. I was like, I just need to start doing this, and like I can produce them or whatever better later, but I just need to like get in the habit of posting stuff. So I just threw them on the thing and shot them and saved them in the drafts.
Let the fact that you're actively posting them be the motivation to improve the
Right. Yeah, exactly. Whoa, Reaper, thanks for the raid. How are you, everybody?
Reaper. Oh, hey, Reaper.
Scryer, how are you?
Hey, speak of the devil. We're doing one of the wormlings right now. How's it going? How are you guys doing? Who was doing the stream today? Wow, that was a lot of people. Hey, Newsire Scryer, thank you for that raid as well. Thank you guys. How are you doing? What up? How much? I don't know what Hamster's painting. That's the one that's like big on camera right now. I've been painting Reaper stuff though. I just finished up my. I think it's a Yuan. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be a Yuanti. Can I get a better look on it? I don't have my DSLR set up in the new apartment yet. Finished up my Yuanti recently. Ah, man. You know, look at the shield. The shield catches well, at least.
I do like the shield.
Yeah. Looks like Rasputin is a wizard. Are you implying Rasputin wasn't a wizard? That dude lived through everything. Just gonna join this giant raid. What we need is makes me think of Nightheart Gaming.
I'm pretty sure this is from the Kickstarter.
Gaming, Hamster?
No, I'm pretty sure it's from a Kickstarter called Myth Explorers.
Oh.
I've backed way too many of them over the last 2 years, so I don't know when it was or anything, but
that's fair. I'm still thinking about like I still have a couple Kickstarters I'm waiting on to come in. Yo, Reaper, while you're here, the Bones 5 sculpts came out like really, really well. Like they've been very expressive. Like I've been speed painting a bunch. Like pretty much as soon as the shipment arrived, I pulled like a bunch of stuff. I was like, okay, what kind of like where's my game at right now? Like what kind of stuff do we need? I just been like, pulling a bunch of stuff out.
Or is that Saruman? It does kind of look like Saruman.
Reaper said to ask you what up. Not a whole lot. We're just this is the stream that we do every Thursday to kind of unwind. We're deep in Kickstarter mode right now, so it's been long, wild hours, and this is just kind of our time to hang out and talk about random stuff. We talked a lot about video games today. The Nintendo Direct happened, and yeah, we just kind of unwind. Talk about random stuff and paint.
Did you get one of the Reaper ships? Someone's asking what the ship stats. I know Tyler did. What's that?
He didn't get the Reaper ship.
Oh.
He got the Falling Star.
Oh, okay.
He invented the Falling Star. Nate got the Reaper ship,
Oh.
and that's currently sitting in his office. We're looking at it, it's just like, when are we gonna do this? Like, when are we? Like, we've got to paint it at some point. I think we're trying to figure out. Yeah, Nate has the Sophie's Revenge, I think is what it's called. That's sitting. Yeah, as soon as it got here, we unboxed it, and yeah, we did finish painting the falling star though. It came out pretty good. It's simple, but yeah. Tell them they like Dice too. Tell me about your next Kickstarter. Oh right, we just revealed it. It's Reliquaries, which is kind of a product that doesn't exist. Nobody's made it before. They're basically really nice standalone sculpts that are meant to, like, they're meant to hold dice. Was like their primary purpose, but they also function as terrain, as set pieces. The goal is to make stuff that looks nice enough that you're like comfortable displaying it on your shelf, stuff like that, or like on your fireplace. So the sculptors have really been like going like ham planet on it.
The sculpts are insane.
Sculpts are wild. Yeah, because they've been able to. Because usually when they're sculpting stuff, like our sculptors are incredibly talented, but usually, like, you know, you're kind of restricted when you're sculpting for terrains. It's like these pieces have to be able to fit together, so you got to stick to a certain geometry. With all the reliquaries being like standalone pieces, they have kind of like a bust quality to them, where it's like this stands alone as its one thing, so you get to just kind of go all out on that sculpt. You don't got to worry about the way that it's gonna. There's like some things like we want to make sure they have like the same size base and stuff like that, but like they really just kind of got to go all out on it. We revealed 7. We revealed 7 of the sculpts so far, which is under half of what we're going to have. So, yeah, we're teasing stuff out over time. Kickstarter launches November 3rd is the plan. So over this next month, we're going to be just kind of unleashing a lot of new stuff. I've been filming a lot of stuff. Hamster's been painting like crazy.
Yeah, I just got some stuff yesterday, so this week especially, paint is gearing up.
Yeah. Are you excited to paint that the big the Elven Hero, I guess, is what we're calling it for now?
Yeah, yeah. Well, we've showed. Wait, have we showed that one yet?
Yeah.
Did we show it? Did we show it painted?
We haven't shown it painted because we didn't have.
Then I won't say anything. But yes, I am.
Nate's been showing the process of that. He showed like Michelle's like in progress sculpting pictures and stuff.
Sure.
And then we showed them the casting that we made of it.
Okay.
Last night.
Yeah, no, that sculpt is so cool. It's like really ornate, so it's really fun to paint.
Yeah. That's the thing, right? Is these get to be like, I don't know. It's why I'm hoping we get to offer unpainted, because I feel like a lot of painters are gonna have a field day with customizing the paint jobs on them.
Oh yeah.
It's something we want to do. It's just we got to make sure that we do all of this in a way where we get to exist as a company.
Yeah.
Going forward.
It's definitely uncharted territory, which is exciting, but got to be a little more measured.
Yeah. So that's the main thing, because people were wondering about it, and like the thing is just like, if we don't hit a high enough level on it, because we're taking like a big risk with it, just because like we're kind of gambling on. It's us trying to make a read on what people value in their games and all that, to try and introduce an accessory to lean into the sentimentality of like how attached we are to our dice and our minis and stuff like that, to create an accessory to kind of like elevate that stuff. And so we're kind of gambling on it, because like nobody's made this product before. Dice holders, like this isn't a thing.
Yeah.
So
I'm very curious to see what the reception is, like you said, of just, I don't know.
So far from our usual backers, it's actually more positive than I was expecting.
Oh, good.
I was expecting a lot of people to be unhappy with the fact that we were doing this, but a lot of people that I wasn't expecting to be on board with it, are on board with it. I think a lot of them also weren't expecting to be on board with it, but then they looked at it more and they're like, no, this actually does make sense.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
it was interesting because I sent it to my friend who is a DF fan, and completely unprompted. All I sent him was like the reveal video, and his response right away was like all the same thoughts that we've had on on it ourselves. Of just like, we could use it as terrain. It's a cool product that could get people into Dwarven Forge that are new, that kind of thing. Like, and he just like
yeah.
totally said that unprompted, so that was cool.
Yeah, which that's part of the thing is that we we make this stuff because we want to have and use this stuff.
Right.
So it's very validating to go like, yeah, no, okay, good. We are still real gamers.
Yeah.
Like our gamer thoughts are lining up with other gamer thoughts. Uh, and we didn't completely misread the situation. So I think I'm pretty confident that it's going to be successful. But in the off chance that we don't hit the funding that we want, if a lot of that's in unpainted, then that lowers kind of the average that we've actually made on the production run.
Sure.
Like selling, if we only, and these numbers are like just wildly out there. If we only sell like 500 of them in the Kickstarter, those 500 being painted versus being unpainted would make a huge difference.
Yeah.
In terms of the funding. If we do well enough that like we are gonna have no problem paying for these molds, and like then it doesn't matter.
Right.
But if we barely raise enough to pay for the molds, then having a significant portion of the sculpts be unpainted would hurt us on the production run cost aspect. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm confident. I think that we're doing all the right things. We've been prepping video content for ads and all that. We're trying to advertise in ways we never have. And I think we're gonna hit the mark. And I think that as long as we get people's eyes, as long as a bunch of new people are aware, because the whole point is this is supposed to hit people who don't know about us yet.
Right.
So as long as we're successful in that, I think that what we're making, I think these sculpts will sell themselves.
Sure. Yeah.
It's just
Definitely.
about making sure. It's just about making sure that people know about it. Which has been a huge part of what I've been doing, is just coming up with a marketing strategy, what the videos are going to be like, what kind of language is going to. It's the whole thing of like, since this is a new product, we need to get people to understand what it is like instantly, and
Yeah.
see the value in it like instantly.
Right.
The longer someone has to try to understand it, the more people are going to give up before they understand it, and that's a customer lost. So that whole thing, it's very funny. I told myself I wouldn't ever be able to do marketing stuff.
And here you are.
Yeah, I think it's just because I think it's because what it is I can't sell things if it's a thing I don't believe in.
I feel that. Mace in the house. Holy gosh. How
Hey,
you
Mace.
feeling?
Has the go live already happened, or is there a date set for it? Current goal is to launch very beginning of November. November 3rd is like the date we're looking at. That's subject to change. We're gonna lock it in very soon. There should be an announcement in the next couple weeks of the 100% confirmed launch date.
Mace is feeling shredded. That's good news.
Nice. You just get back from the gym? You guys always talk about others' Kickstarters, which they talk about yours to help you all out. It's a weird thing, right? Like, so we have some people who talk about it. The Dungeon Dudes go to bat for us and stuff like that. But I think the reality is, not a lot of companies do the kind of streaming engagement that we do. Like this kind of on the anvil, like as a show, is a very different thing than you'll see from most tabletop companies. And what it is mostly is just kind of like unfiltered, like us, you know. Like we're not doing paid sponsorships. Like when we talk about when we talk about somebody else's project, they didn't pay or ask us to do it. It's just a thing. Like pretty much everybody at the company is always looking at Kickstarters and is always getting this stuff because we want to use this stuff, right? Like we all actively play like a wide variety of games, so we just are always sending Kickstarters to each other, and when we see something cool, like we just kind of talk about it because we want to see that stuff get funded. It's just like the reality of it. We haven't had anybody. We don't have a platform large enough for people to like ask us to do like paid sponsorship stuff, which I think is fine. That's also kind of just how I think it's how we want it to be, honestly. I don't know. I would feel weird if we start getting into the. I don't know. It's a weird thing. I don't think that's what our. I don't think it's what our company is. But we'll see. Who knows? But no, that's the impact that we want to have in the community, though. We want to highlight small artists that are doing cool things. We want to see the hobby grow because that means we get more cool stuff to play with. I don't know, and I'm sure, but yeah. So like, getting back on that really briefly. So I think as far as like talking about our Kickstarters go, I think our terrain is just a terrain Kickstarter is just a very hard thing to push to a general RPG audience. It serves a very small niche, right? You've got to play RPGs, usually in person. You can use this stuff online, but like generally speaking, most people only think about using it if they play in person. Be the DM, usually. There are some groups where the players like pitch in, and that's wonderful. But for the most part, it's usually DMs buying it for themselves. And you have to have the money and the space for it. It's absolutely a luxury product. It's not a thing you need to play the game. It's very helpful for people, and I think that you get your money's worth out of it. That's why people give us crap about the prices sometime, and it's very funny just because the reality is the reason our prices are what they are is because our stuff is expensive to make.
Yeah,
it's not 3D printed.
It is interesting, like, being on the internal on that, where it's like, you know, the numbers were crunched, and this is, like, where it lands to be. It's like, you know, lower relatively, like, than you would think, you know, to the manufacturer.
I think we have this. I'm pretty sure we're the terrain company with the smallest margins.
Yeah.
We absolutely have the smallest margins. Because you look at Games Workshop absolutely has way bigger margins.
Oh my gosh, like, yeah.
Like their stuff, they sell their stuff at pretty high prices.
Yeah, nowadays
I guarantee they see a much larger percentage cut than we do.
It's all in a different plastic. It's sculpted digitally. And a box of 5 models now is like $60.
Yeah.
New.
So yeah. Like we'll get comments every now and then where people will be like, "Oh, they're ripping you off. Can you believe they're charging these prices? Look at how much cheaper you can get this thing." And they'll show like a 3D printed, unpainted, like thing. And like what happens a lot is people will compare our painted prices to other people's unpainted prices, which I don't think is reasonable, right. Because the cost of labor for painting is a thing.
Right.
Like it's you're like you can get unpainted. You need to compare our unpainted to other people's unpainted. And then it's also like I don't know.
I have
I don't
some
know.
old
It's
GW
strange.
too. It's not the quality, dude. I've literally gone to the same store and they had 2 boxes of Eldar Guardians, which have not been updated since the '90s, but the box art changed and the price was different, even though the models were exactly the same.
Yeah. It's I don't know. It's a hard thing to explain to people though, and that's why if we raised our prices, people would be very upset.
Yeah.
But like the reality is, we really just kind of skate by on very thin margins most of the time because this stuff is expensive to make. We're we don't sell at a loss, but like, for example, like Crystal Caverns. One of the reasons Crystal Caverns aren't restocked much is because the prices that we sold them at are selling them at a loss. I think we like drastically underestimated how expensive they'd be to make. So like, I don't know. It's
Turns out it's a tough puzzle.
thing. Yeah, it's a thing. It's a line to walk because the prices need to be like, yeah,
How dare
know.
you slander Games Workshop? I'll think they'll survive.
yeah.
DMN, thanks for plugging my TikTok. Mace, just telling me that I owe you $5 every time I speak a word doesn't mean that it's ever coming to you.
Are the old GW 40K and Wood Elves from 15 plus years ago even relevant anymore? Did they change scale or something, or is it just like
The scale
the
is changing.
Yeah.
Scale is changing
Really?
in general, yeah.
Fascinating. I figured when people talk about like scale creep, it would be like different games are changing scale.
No, like basically things like, imagine like a Space Marine. They basically just like change the proportions to where they look a little more like, air quotes, realistic. Like, you know, it's not like giant hands holding a gun and your fist is the size of the helmet. You know what I mean? They kind of like stretched them out a little bit to get the detail and the sizing a little more like proportionate. Same as Stormcast Eternals. And this is even from like new models to new models. Like Age of Sigmar is like 5 years old now. They released Stormcast Eternals, and now even those have like, and they don't want to make their products obsolete, so they put it in the lore like these are just like Space Marines or Sig Marines 2.0, and they're totally different, but really they're just like the new guys that are newer with the new technology and the new sculpting style, which has increased the scale. They call it like hero scale, so it's still approximately like, and would fit with like 28 to 35 or 32 mil, but the average like troop is getting larger.
Is it like legacy scale or something like that?
Yeah, no. Because they still want to keep them in the rules, and like they don't want to be like everything on the shelf is obsolete, you know. Even though it is clear that it's just like the new version of the old thing, but
Interesting. Huh. Oh. Yeah, I've never gotten into Warhammer because it seems so intimidating from the outside. But like, I have like a couple of the video games and stuff from bundles and the like, and I've wanted to like play Warhammer in the past, but like it seems like such a it's like a massively intimidating thing to get into.
well, that's actually why I picked up. I mean, I was looking for a bad influence or an excuse to buy it, but I bought the Dominion box for Age of Sigmar 3.0 because it's designed to like have 2 armies. They're smaller. They're not necessarily like a full standard army, but they'll throw in a little scenario that's designed to like get you to get familiar with playing Warhammer and with these armies. So I kind of want to whenever I have a chance, which is when the hell will that be, but I do want to paint it up and just have in the office for people that like want a taste of Warhammer, because I just think that'd be cool.
I want to be able to game in the office again so bad, man.
Yeah.
There we go. I love using the iridescent pearl on Dragon Eyes.
That's a great idea.
Do that for every single dragon. I don't even care.
That's a great idea. The pearl for eyes? That sounds sweet. I've only used the pearl specifically on like space helmet, like the Eldar helmets. Nice wizard. Thanks, Mace.
Nice wizard.
This guy is actually a pinball wizard?
That's fair. He's holding the pinball right there?
Yeah, giant pinball.
Yeah, that's what that is?
Yeah.
Wizard also owes Mace $5.
Yeah, he's coming for you, Mace.
Someday I'll start getting like, man, just like the highlights on that. I just do not comprehend how to think in those, like, how to think like that and do stuff like that yet.
Honestly, it's just paint more models all the way through.
Ugh.
Just paint and paint and paint. Turns out practice helps, yeah. Like when I look at something like this and I look at something from a year ago, I just feel like I learned how to paint like this month.
You're telling me I have to keep... You tell me I have to practice to get better?
Yeah.
Ugh.
Ugh.
Ugh. Paint all the models. I mean, I'm making fairly good progress on my bone stuff. The last couple of weeks I haven't had time to really paint much, but like, I'm getting through a good amount of them. There was like 1 week where I painted like 10 of them, something like that. It was because it was like, we needed to fill out an entire pirate ship crew of Beastfolk. And I like painting Beastfolk more than well, not humanoids, because they are humanoids, but like more than like humans.
Do you want a box of Warhammer Beastmen? I don't know why I bought it, but I have it. It's on the sprue. New in box. You should do a series using DF Corner or wall piece as a mini diorama display for a mini. I actually did it when we were going to go to Adepticon. I was really excited I wanted to bring someone to enter into Golden Demon. And I have this Hobbit miniature of Bilbo. And I wanted to convert him to be like holding a torch. And if there was like a Dwarven Forge dungeon piece with like the light bouncing off the walls around him and stuff. But I looked into it and I think it was against the rules or something to like not have it has to be like Games Workshop parts or scratch build parts. So I couldn't like use the product. But I did think I still might just do it anyway because screw it.
What are they going to do? Kick you out of the event?
No, I just mean like outside of the contest. Yeah. I actually this is a copy. The first miniature I ever got was these metal ghouls from Warhammer Fantasy, and I painted this like maybe 2 years ago now, and I want to paint another one to enter as a Golden Demon. I don't think it'd win because like it's old and they often choose like Space Marines or like the new stuff because it's an ad also, but just for you know, nostalgia, have my first Golden Demon entry bucket list thing be my first model, same as my first model. Yeah, cheeky ghoul, look at that booty. Booty's popping.
Yeah, well, you really highlighted it.
Hey, it's sculpted really bubblicious.
You made it shine. How much time did you spend focusing on that?
On that mini right there?
No, just the butt.
Oh. Honestly, to get the skin color, it was actually a combination of like layering 3 different tries of different things. So that butt probably got at least an hour of paint on it.
Nice.
Oh, sell the sample terrain sets as displays for a mini. That's a cool idea. I like that. I should get a copy of that in the office and just put minis on them and take photos or something.
That was the thing I was talking to. Somebody on the forums was talking about that. They're like, what they should do is a Kickstarter where they sell like a wall and a corner and a floor to make a little diorama for pieces, just little 3-piece sets. Like, they should do that as a Kickstarter. And I was like, I don't think that would work as a Kickstarter is the thing. Like, it was the thing where it was like the tone of like, that would do better than Reliquaries. I'm like, I don't think that's the case. I think there's a much smaller market for something like that. But it would be nice if that's what our sample sets were. Because, you know, we do those 3-piece sample sets. It would be cool if they... I feel like it's a thing that we would have had to have thought about then, though. Because it would involve, like... I don't think it's a thing that's worth like redoing the entire mold for.
Sure.
But in hindsight, it would have been cool if that's what our sample sets were.
Paul, that sounds right. I'm pretty sure that's who did the Kickstarter, is RN.
Gormund, Mighty Wizard from RNE Studio. I've never even heard of that.
Yeah, I hadn't either. I just saw, ever since I started working at Dwarven Forge, all my targeted ads are miniatures and gaming Kickstarters because I'm always on the Kickstarter page or whatever, so I just saw it.
There are so many mini companies, dude.
Yeah, I know, right?
It is unreal how many good sculptors there are, like, doing 3D printed stuff on Etsy.
On Etsy and even, like, My Mini Factory, like, people can just upload sculpts and people can buy, like, you could just do it. One thing even, and just, like, upload it. It's pretty insane nowadays. Saw one at Gen Con, painted torch effects, bone scattered coins. Yeah, look, that sounds awesome. Look at that horn! Yeah, Vertex, you were giving me some tips on that horn, I think, when I was doing this.
Alright.
I still need to varnish it. I think I want more of a matte finish on the cape. Because I want to sell this, or I don't want to sell it as a gaming piece or use it as a gaming piece, so I do want to varnish it. Most things that I would expect to be played with, I finish off with a varnish. But the cape it doesn't look bad, but I just kind of imagine it more as like a matte, gritty, especially with the texture, more of a gritty material, scratchy.
I just want to finish the base on this wormling, and then I'll call it, because then it'll be table ready. I'm still going to want to come in and do some more stuff to him, but all of his basics will be there after this. Oh my god.
This guy was supposed to be like feet flat on the floor, and his foot looks a little odd this way, but I do like the pose. I think I like couldn't get him to fit on all the cork I'd built up, so I just put him on the edge and made him like leaping off.
I have like the intro to that one song from Kill la Kill stuck in my head. It's a good guitar lick, to be fair. But it gets worse after playing over in your head, like, for 3 hours straight. I will say that much.
At first I wanted to paint these bubble helmets just like orangey, like kind of, I was gonna say opaque. There'd be like shimmery, but you couldn't see through them. But there's stuff sculpted in there, and you still can't see it very well the way I did it, but I might try something different. I at least have to gloss them, I think. I did like the paint that I used to get a little tint on them was like sort of matte, and it doesn't work for the Buble helmet, so I don't know. I'm just looking at these sitting around now at this point, talking about how a lot of works in progress over here since I started doing hobby hang right here.
Yeah. Yeah.
I still have this thing.
By
It looks
the
a
way,
little sunburned, but
I'm working on a rule set, and I might want your input on it at some point.
oh sweet, RPG rule set.
It's a blend of RPG and rule and war game.
Oh, I'm in.
I'm
sold already. Yeah, I'd love to look at it.
I need rules for both of those phases, basically.
Awesome. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. I'm saying this to try and motivate myself to finish it.
All right. Well, 49 people have heard you.
Yeah.
Don't let them down.
Yeah, if other people know about it, that was the first.
It looks like the Failure album Space Guy. I think I remember you saying that. Did I stream it, or did you say that on an Instagram post or something? I forget.
Failure album Space Guy?
Yeah, there was some like niche album, and I googled it, and it really did look like well, whatever the cover was. If you don't make the rules, Chris Pratt wins. Yeah, don't let Chris Pratt win. You are the superior Chris.
To be fair, we made it very easy. It's so weird to me that he didn't do well in his like Billy on the Street thing. Like it seems like it'd be right up his alley.
I know that it was really like that's why I picked the episode. I was like, oh, this will be good. And he was just kind of like, I don't know, was not into it. It was odd to me.
Very bizarre. Okay.
Chris London for next MCU Chris. There you go. I'd watch that.
Do they not have too many?
Yeah, but Chris London? Come on, that'll sell.
Can we just cut it with the Chris's? At this point. Chris Pine hasn't wound up in there, has he? He was just in the Star Trek reboot?
Oh, that's all I can think of, I guess.
Alright. I'm gonna call the dragon here for the wormling here for now. It's
nice.
Well, let's get the light going this direction. There we go.
Yeah,
Wow, it just
sweet.
keeps darkening.
Yeah, it wants to darken.
Oh god.
Oh yeah, just leave it like that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that looks sweet. I definitely do like the wing and bone color choices for sure.
Yeah. It's very basic, but you can put that on a table and play with it.
Right.
That's the thing that matters. He's in Wonder Woman? Got it. So he has done a superhero at least. Right, is he the Steve Trevor? Is Steve Trevor Wonder Woman's guy?
Steve Trevor?
Yeah.
Trevor's his last name?
Yes.
Alright, that's enough hobby hang for me.
Steve Rogers is Captain America.
That's true. But Rogers with the S sounds more like a last name. Trevor?
Steve Trevor's would be better if it was multiple Trevors.
Steve Trevor's.
I don't want his last name to be just a plain guy. I want it to be many plain guys.
Steve Trevor's at your service.
Alright. Yes, but that was Chris Pine. Yes. Alright.
So what's next week look like? Anvil
Deborah
and
Ann
Hammy?
Wool.
Oh yeah.
Deborah Ann Wool is going to be on the Anvil with us. We're going to talk about her new DMing thing that she's starting up. And we're going to talk about trigonometry.
Yeah.
And then the hobby hang is happening, I assume, unless you cancel it. So.
I hope so. Next week, something bad will have to happen for that to happen.
Yes.
All right. Well, look out for that. Hey, anyone who stuck around
right.
from Reaper, thank you so much for hanging out. And to everyone else, great to see you as usual. And we'll see you next time. Take care, everybody. Bye. Bye-bye.